If you'll notice, the Lord did not leave out the Lubavitchers. When you go to Bible Hub, you see all these different Bible translations. But if you look carefully, you will see there's also one for the Lubavitchers, the OJB. Do you see it highlighted here? This is the OJB. You click on that one, and you come to the Lubavitcher translation. And there it is. Translated specifically for the Lubavitchers. Now, where does Moshiach, let me just put it like this. Where does he speak of himself as the Moshiach? Okay, you have this term called the Bar Enosh, which you find in Daniel chapter 7, verse 13. Now, Rashi says this is the Melech HaMashiach in his commentary. Now, in the Aramaic portions of the Tanakh, especially in Daniel, you find this word. Now, I'm looking at the Jastrow Dictionary of Aramaic that the yeshiva bokers use. You see this, Pei Lamed Het? This is a word that means to serve as deity. To serve as deity. It can also be an admonition not to worship idols. So if people are doing palak, they are doing worship and they are looking at a deity. Well, in Daniel chapter 3, I think it's verse 12, the three friends of Daniel are told, we will not palak, Pei Lamed Het, the idols of Nebuchadnezzar. But in Daniel chapter 7, verse 13, all peoples will palak the Bar Enosh when he comes to the Atik Yomin. Which means that if Rashi says the Bar Enosh is a king Moshiach, well, Daniel says that he is God. And all peoples will palak him as God. And he is not an idol. The three pious friends of Daniel will not palak idols. Daniel 3:12. But all peoples will palak the Bar Enosh, King Moshiach. Daniel chapter 7, verse 13. So this is important. And this is why the Orthodox Jewish Bible, if you'll just go to Daniel and then go to Daniel chapter 7 and then go down to verse 13, it says, I was beholding in visions of the night, and hine one like a Bar Enosh came with the clouds of Shemayim and came to the Atik Yomin, and before him he was brought. So this is Moshiach's favorite self-designation. For instance, when Yehuda comes in Luke chapter 22, I believe it is, to betray him, and he has already got a prearranged signal with the temple police, etc., that the one that he gives the kiss, this one is the one that they must arrest. Okay, so I'm going to go down to Luke here. I'm going to go to the 22nd chapter. I'm going to go down to the part where they're in the Garden of Gethsemane. Notice this verse here, verse 47. Yet as he was speaking, hine, a multitude, and going at their head was the one being called Yehuda, one of the 12, and he drew near to Rabbi Melech Moshiach to give him a neshika, a kiss. And Rabbi Melech Moshiach said to him, Yehuda, do you with a neshika, the Ben Adam, the Ben Ha-Adam, the Baranosh, betray? So you see, we betray him. Why do we betray him? Because there is no attractiveness that we should desire him. As it says in the second chapter of Isaiah 53. We always choose somebody else. That's why we have to have a Briah Hadashah. We have to have a change of heart, a Lev Hadash, a Ruach Hadashah. God has to turn us around. Until he does, we will always choose someone else. Even those people who seemingly choose him, they are not really choosing him. They are choosing some kind of religious affectation that purports to be about him. But him they do not know. So this is what we're saying. This is where Moshiach identified himself as Moshiach. Every time he gave the self-designation, Bar Enosh, referring to Daniel 7:13, he was referring to himself as the Moshiach ben David.